This is going to be your guide to using Delphox in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Is there some kind of magic we can perform that makes this Pokemon viable? Is it another Inteleon situation? Is it another Chestnut situation? Can we break this Pokemon? Let's find out. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, share with your friends, comment your thoughts down below. Does damage theory work on 114 special attack? Does 104 speed give us something? Well, if we go back to Generation 6, which had a lot less power creep when this Pokemon was introduced, no one used it. Can we figure out why? Because 104 speed, back then, like 100 speed was a tier, and if you break 100 speed, now you're a sweeper Pokemon, and you outspeed Garchomp, but then the 114 special attack means, well, you don't KO Garchomp, so the 104, 114 doesn't really matter. And now these stats have just gotten like super mega turbo power crept. Magician ability never really worked or did anything, and then since it's a starter Pokemon, will we find some kind of Blaze cheese? However, if you just go to like water types, oh, it's better off to Aqua Jet with some kind of like crazy mega boosting. So Delphox doesn't have anything that immediately stands out. I was thinking, what if we go to Braixen? Because Eviolite might be an angle on this Pokemon, but 59, 58, 70, not great. I remember for Fan Fridays, there was an Eviolite Braixen, but actually Eviolite Braixen is just much tankier. So no, it doesn't look like we're going to make Braixen work so we can get some more Braixen fan art like we saw from the Pokken Tournament player. So yeah, what else does Delphox have? Like, can we make Magician work with some kind of nuttiness? You know, opposing Pokemon, they're just faster, so they sweep you out, do way too much damage, Focus Sash procs, use a move, boom. Magician steals their item, now you're just winning. Problem, the stats make absolutely no sense to make this work, because, okay, we max out speed. Well, now that means we're just taking away from Pokemon that would outspeed us, break our sash, and then we get to steal or something. I guess being faster is better because then we can hit them, take a hit, Focus Sash procs, hit them again, and I guess we might make that work as long as we get 2 outspeeds. So that's a thing. And then if you go for hit points to like try to make yourself slower but bulkier, well, more bulk means just less chance of our Focus Sash being procced. I don't know what you do with this, because like Magician just does not have any synergy inside of the game. What about Delphox's like durability into damage interactions? Like, do we just run specs on 114 and then 75, 100 is good enough? No, it's not. Iron Bundle with choice specs, even if we do something like Terra Psychic, 50% chance to KO on 75, 100. So even if like trying to exploit the special defense was an idea back in like Generation 6, Generation 7, well, there's just better special defense tanks, better Assault Vest Pokemon, better... Like Delphox is just the least viable fully evolved Pokemon or something. I guess that's not fair too, because there's a few other ones that just don't do anything. But the biggest problem with Delphox is that it's just outclassed by everything. That when you have a Pokemon you really want to make viable, you try to look for a niche. You try to look for some kind of angle. Oh man, this is where he's building up. He's building up the Pokemon theory, guys. He's going to find it. No, I'm not, actually. I'm just, like, explaining how Pokemon works. And what you want to do, if you need to make a Pokemon viable, is find the one thing it can do that no other Pokemon has. It's special attack plus a certain move, plus like some kind of synergy between the item or ability that no other Pokemon has, usually with like moveset interactions or something. But like, yeah, it's just a worse at everything kind of Pokemon. Wanted to see like, what do we have? Like 104 speed. Problem is, in Generation 9, the 104 speed tier effectively doesn't exist. Like, everything between 90 and 130 is just not a speed. However, Goldengo and Urshifu are kind of making it weird, so like, what do we do against Urshifu? We go Timid, Life Orb on the Delphox, we hit a super effective hit, and then Urshifu goes away, hopefully. This is the current state of Urshifu. Second most used, but it's Rapid Strike style. The Fist form doesn't really seem to be that common. It's really everyone just using Rapid Strike. It's going Punching Glove or Choice Scarf. Like, Choice Scarf is you just lose, but mostly Jolly, and then we also beat Adamant Nature, so, like, 74% of the time, we can deal with the second most common Pokemon pretty easily, because again, like, the speed tiers don't exist. So we're watching this weird thing happen. where speed creep is coming back in very slowly. Like you expect, oh, speed creep, 110, 115 is coming back in. No, 97 is the speed creep that now you want to catch. So 100 almost viable again in the weirdest ways. And then, like, what happens? Well, we survive an Aqua Jet from Punching Glove Jolly because that's terrible and not enough damage. But because all the Japanese players are running just the most insane amounts of anti-tank, tanks don't exist, so this Urshifu is safe, and sweeping doesn't exist, so this Urshifu is even safer, and it's allowed to get away with just the sinning of Punching Glove being it, and then that also negates the overusage of Rocky Helmet. We're saying the game is weird, but it's a thing that Delphox can do. What about outspeeding Golden Go? Because that's pretty good, so let's find these numbers. Timid 84 gives us some ability to go 149, so we do this, and then we get bulk, and then that's a thing. But then we do need to worry about Urshifu, which is going to have the 163, so that means we can't go modest, and then we go timid, and then we go that, and then we go that, and that's the Delphox we have over here. I just moved the numbers instead of highlighting things. But yeah, so this is what we got, and that's kind of it. So we can use some amount of theory to optimize Delphox, but then that means we're timid 114, potentially Life Orb. And as Damage Theory has revealed, Life Orb is not an item. Is it an item with a theoretical 104 Pokemon with 114 offense? Only if you're hitting supers, but there's a lot of supers to hit into the metagame. But then, like, why run this when Fluttermane exists? And you kind of do the same things, and also you don't have an ability. And, like, Blaze is not reliable to take a 70% hit, Life Orb yourself into Blaze, and then one-shot something on Timid 114. Terra Fire, sure, but then you might also need, like, something to get out, because with this Urshifu, we actually survived the Super Aqua Jet, so that's a thing. Wow, just 130 Jolly without, like, a boosting item. Again, just kind of, like, pushes the Damage Theory in the weirdest places, where, like, 75, 72 low base power stab. You're just fine, and you don't even have to Terra off. So, I mean, like, okay, you go fighting Terra, or not fighting, Fire Terra, and get some more damage. What else we got? We got Dazzling Gleam, we got Flamethrower. Fire Blast, I don't think pushes it over, but it does get us, like, close to the Iron Bundle damage, but slower. It's like, no matter what you do, it's like, oh, well, if we go Specs, well, we got Fluttermane and Iron Bundle just being better. What if we do Encore? I mean, Iron Bundle has Encore, so that's harder. Like, you can go Encore Calm Mind setups, and that's about it. We got Dazzling Gleam, Flamethrower, throw down the Psyshock, maybe, which can also still find the K. Actually, no, because Urshifu is more defensive bulk than special defense. So actually, let's see what the Psyshock gets. Ooh, wow. Yeah, look at that. That's what the Timid Life Orb does. Suddenly, you're not always KOing Urshifu, and it's looking really ugly. Like, Terra Fire doesn't do that, so you need Terra Psychic, which is the worst typing. So it doesn't even do that great. Life Orb Attacker with Encore options. But then, like, you're just two-shotting everything. You need the Calm Mind setup. So, I mean, what if we go Bulky, Citrus Berry, Calm Mind, and now we're Move Slot Syndromed? I don't know. Like, Specs Wall Break, but everything's better. This Pokemon just does not exist, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to competitive. Comment something down below, but I feel like we've seen these bits and pieces before for, like, other kind of Pokemon, where it's like, oh, we can go Endure Berry starter into ability. Like, yeah, fine. If you really want to make it work, and if the opponent somehow doesn't have any priority moves, you can go, not Salak, want to go Taya Berry, Indoor, Agility, somehow. Like, that means you also need to find the free thing. That means you also, like, find Bulk, towards, like, okay, this catches some kind of speed tier where actually we'd have to, like, do a little bit more research. We have our special attack, maybe modest, maybe not. We get our 1.5, but then that means we're effectively Specs Timid 114, which means we do need the Fire Blast if we want to start KOing things, and then we're Move Slot Syndrome. Actually, but the Blaze gives us that extra damage, so we're probably still safe on a Flamethrower. That's, like, the whole point, is we go 2.25 times damage, especially with Terra Fire. So, like, now we outspeed everything, looking crazy, and then we have the damage. I'm trying to think, like, did this get some kind of weird Generation 6 quick guard? But then that means you're, like, mono fire, and that's not great. And then, like, Flamethrower, Psyshock is not the best coverage, but it's fine into the meta. Like, you can probably Psyshock a Fluttermane and KO. Alright, here's where things start getting weird and ugly, but also at the end of the day, Inteleon is just more damage and faster. Maybe the 11 special attack matters or doesn't when it comes to damage theory, but you're just going to be slower, but that also doesn't matter if you're going for agility into Endure. So, something like that. But the Flamethrower starts doing some really weird stuff. So we can go Ability, Blaze, and then we can just knock our hit points down to nothing. Now Flamethrower's up there on damage, but then we're also going to get the Potato Berry proc, and then Flamethrower or Psyshock takes it out. You do want to go Terra Fire, so then that actually ticks over the damage amount, because yeah, Shadow Ball KOs you because you were Psychic. Mono Terra Fire, not terrible. You still got something to do there. And then there's also like some weird interactions to where like this gets you into Blaze range and maybe Berry range, and also other stuff can happen. But yeah, like you go Terra Fire, you can swing it. This is against Choice Specs Fluttermane. If it isn't, that could be a thing, but also a problem if it goes like Photosynthesis. And then you should just be doing that. And like this means you just catch everything. You catch the Ultra Mega Schizo Scarf creeping that just kind of exists in the game. Not against Chien Pao, because that Sucker Punch is going to body you pretty much no matter what happens. Like, you just do this as like the ultimate Giga anti-speed Pokemon, and then like you just kind of get destroyed by some kind of tank, because even this isn't going to be enough against something like a Toxapex. Probably okay though. Huh. Mixed Durability Toxapex does not want to deal with the modest, super effective 114 hit. Okay, now this is also mixed, but like if we go full defensive, I mean, still like not comfortable. And if Delphox is already like, it's one of those weird things to where if Delphox is set up and doing all of its things, it's at 1 hit point. So what happens is Toxapex takes 80% and then KOs it on anything, even like a Toxic Tick. But if it's coming in fresh, there is a chance, a pretty strong chance, to 2-hit KO the Toxapex. Just like Psyshock, Psyshock. Even bold 2v2, 2v2. And if it's like 2v2, 2v2, but wants some special defense on Calm or something, like that's just a 2-hit KO on just 114 in Toxapex, that just doesn't seem correct. But I guess stab psychic moves that are fully boosted modest just kind of exist, so some wall breaking ends up coming out of this Delphox if you can find a super, or if you don't get resisted, because the damage starts like scaling so crazy. I had to have put in something wrong. Also, we have the new Pokemon that's coming in being pretty scary, and that's Regieleki with like specs. So dropping that to level 50. I mean, we catch everything. Like, we just go 220. So if you still want to find some bulk for your Delphox, then like, yeah, you go uninvested and you still just outspeed Regieleki. But then again, you can do high speed investment and catch every Scarf thing. I don't know like if health even matters at that point, where it's like, oh, but then what I want to do is go 200 and then catch 135s. But I don't know, maybe. What is Scarf Dragapult? Even though Dragapult is like the biggest non-threat ever. Is there an auto Scarf one? God, why are there so many? Or maybe Dragon Dance. Sure. Comes in, Dragon Dances, +1, level 50. Darn, it outspeeds us. So it doesn't catch 142. Does catch those 135s. And then that's when, like, just do weird things. So we do that, and then that means we can put, like, an extra 20 or whatever is allowed here for 3 more hit points. Nah, it's not worth it. Just go 2v2, 252, and then you run Endure Agility. And then you hope you don't see priority, and then you win the game, and then you don't. But it's one of those things, like, it can sweep. Inteleon does it. This kind of brings its own different flavor. +1 stab Psyshock, crazy. Flamethrower, Blaze, Terra Fire, also pretty just neutrally one-shotting everything. And maybe you can set it up into the 1-for-1 plus to where even if they bring in a fat Pokemon that walls you out, you do enough damage to it to where like another sweeper or bruiser Pokemon just makes to where that tank never gets to take off. And Delphox is allowed to play the game, but it's so cheap. Because this is how every starter Pokemon, I guess except Chestnut, because Chestnut's secretly good, works, where it's just like, yep, if you want to use your favorite starter, you go Endurability with some kind of boost berry. Maybe there's something else hiding here. It can go like the other way around, where it's like you go Nasty Plot Salac. But as we saw, like the speed, probably just fine on the agility as well. And then you do this, and then you make things hurt, and GG. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.